Ever since day one, somebody probably said you wouldn't be none. I bet they told you this over and over again on repeat like a rerun. Nobody ever told you you could live up to anything you want, don't give up. They rather tell you you're destined for failure. That's what they tell you. But you should say, what about Martin? What about Robbie? What about Rosa? What about Malcolm? What if somebody told them they would never be nothing?
Hello, my name is Stacy Lampkin. I'm 22 years old. I was raised in Hamtramck, Michigan, and I have a huge passion for the whole city of Detroit, especially the youth in Detroit. And I started the Young Ambitious Foundation to begin to eliminate barriers that affect our students from learning in school. Thank you. Today we're going to answer a few questions to figure out what we were lacking as teenagers in order to figure out how we can help our teenagers today. And I have a few of my family members and close friends who are going to answer these questions. We're going to have a good discussion and see what we can do moving forward for the foundation.
Hey, my name is Neiman. I'm 23 years old. I'm a friend of Stacy's and I'm from 8 Mile and Myers.
Hi, my name is Sha'Diamond. I'm 24 years old. I'm from the city of Detroit and I'm Stacy's cousin.
How y'all doing? I'm David. I'm 18 years old and I'm from pretty much everywhere in Michigan. Sterling Heights, Hamtramck, Detroit. I've been everywhere.
The first question that I want to ask is, what was the biggest issue for you guys to deal with as a teenager? And I'm talking about like 13 to like 19.
I guess my biggest issue as a teenager, in school specifically, was just a lack of discipline, I guess. Like, I didn't really have, I grew up in a single-parent household and my mother was working a lot, so I didn't have a person that could really push me. And I'm still dealing with those issues today, even in college, just being able to sit down and, finish an assignment or whatever.
All right, I definitely think my biggest problem growing up as a teenager was wanting things I couldn't have. I didn't grow up poor, but mom couldn't give me everything that I always wanted. And I would see my friends with it in school and I would be like, oh, I really want that. So it made me kind of act out a little. And definitely discipline was one of my major issues. I always wanted to fight and stuff like that. And it was because my parents had split up and so I didn't really know how to act. And I was trying to get attention from my older, I guess. I don't know, bouncing around a lot from my dads to moms. Definitely put me in a bad position. I never was able to keep friends. So that was one of my major issues growing up.
The next question is, what do you think is the biggest issue facing our teens today?
Identity.
Elaborate, please.
As far as them trying to figure out who they are, joining different crowds just to fit in. Nobody has their personal identity or wants to be themselves. They try to pick up an image of what somebody else already is and portray what they are.
So what do you think? How can we mentor the teens to help them find themselves and not idolize people that they know?
Well, that's going to be kind of hard. I feel like that should have been started at a younger age because trying to mold somebody that's already molded into something is pretty much not going to work. It's like, that's just a hopeless cause, really, from my perspective. Trying to change somebody's identity from what they already are.
What do you think is the biggest issue for teens today?
I definitely think there's a lack of role models. Growing up, I didn't have Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. I had Soulja Boy. So identity is definitely a problem, but it comes from the lack of role models, especially in the black community. There's nobody on TV telling us, hey, we should act this way, or don't do this, and go to school and stuff like that. I mean, we have Obama, but I wouldn't say he's not really doing anything because I love him as president, but he can't be everywhere at all times. So I think we need some more role models to spread a positive message to youth.
Alright, so going off what Sha'Diamond said, she said it's a lost cause to try to change their mindset and help them find their identity. What do you think about that statement?
I definitely think it's true. I don't think you can't turn a bad girl good, and the same thing with a guy. So I feel like it's really hard to change someone from their ways. Like it would take some time, or it would have to be some drastic stuff would have to happen
For them to change.
So do you think, because with the Young and Ambitious Foundation, I want to begin mentoring, and I want to have like mentors who are like my age or older, who are mentoring younger teenagers, and I want like each mentor to have like 1 or 2 mentees, that way they can be close with me. Do you think that having a positive mentor as a teenager would eventually change their mindset? Or do you think that it's just the way they are?
No, I definitely think having a mentor will help, teens, because that's back to that role model. They have somebody that they can look up to. I look up to you. I would say it would definitely help. I see my sister, she went to U of M and all that kind of stuff. And like I want to do that too. So if they had that same kind of person, I feel like they definitely could change.
So, do you agree, Sha'Diamond?
Yeah, I agree. I do feel like if they actually do have somebody that's consistent with them, you can't have somebody that's constantly jumping in and out of your life trying to show you something to do when you're not fully around. So of course I agree, but at the same time, that's a lot of hard work trying to be somebody's mentor. You can't. That's what the parent's job is, to mentor your child and mold your child into be a better person. Shouldn't a stranger on the street shouldn't have to come in and teach your child how to be a better person. That it starts at home. That's not our responsibility. But I feel like some people do need that one person that they can look up to and to say, okay, well maybe she do care about me and maybe I can change based on her performance and her teaching me how to do more things. So I honestly think like mentoring may help, but only for certain people, not everybody.
I do agree that everybody won't be affected the same way by mentoring, but for the most part, I do think that because it's like a lack of parent-child relationships at home. Like parents aren't close to their kids these days, so to have a mentor that believes in you and cares about you, I think that could definitely change somebody's life, but only if they're willing to accept that. It can't be somebody who just stubborn, they don't want to listen, they don't want anything from you. Okay, so since we were talking about the lack of role models, mentorship, I want to know, who are you guys' role models and why? And if you don't feel you have any role models, why not?
Well, I would say my number one role model is my sister. She does amazing things at a very young age, and it's definitely something to look up to. That
Don't make me cry.
it's always something that I wanted to do too. When she went to U of M, I'm like, all right, U of M is my dream school, so I always kind of like to follow behind her footsteps because she never goes down the wrong path. And Barack Obama is one of my biggest role models. I feel like that is a great man, and the things he has done and accomplished is far beyond what I've ever seen a black man do. So I always want to be like him, and I want to get into politics and the stuff that he does. So these are my biggest role models.
All right, I'm commenting for Sha'Diamond answer, because you just said he accomplished something more than whatever black men do. You said
I said it's
far beyond you seeing black men do.
Yeah,
And you mean, when you say you see, you mean like with just your own eyes?
Yeah, with just my own eyes.
Okay, because I was about to say, we definitely got, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey.
Yeah, I know we have a lot of black male.
But just seeing it in our historical moment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I would choose Barack Obama, because I see that man on TV, and he's there for me. Not saying Martin Luther King wasn't there for me, but Barack Obama is just more of a closer type of person that I can look up to and relate to.
Sha'Diamond?
Role model for me. I wouldn't necessarily say I have a role model. I do look up to certain people, like as far as my aunt, Crystal, I do look up to her. She's accomplished a lot of things with all the obstacles she's had to go through. And when I say she's been through, she's been through. So I wouldn't necessarily call her a role model. It's just somebody that I look up to, and I actually think that I would like to possibly like follow in her footsteps. But yeah, I don't know.
I guess I'm like, every other black kid. I ain't really got any role models. When I was younger, I used to live with my uncle, and he was making like a lot of illegal money, and I kind of looked up to that. The fact that he had so much money when nobody else did. But as I got older, I realized that lifestyle was not like something I really wanted to be a part of. So yeah, like my pops went to prison, for this and that. So I didn't really have nobody, no like real male role models. I guess my mother could be a role model. She always kept shit together, but outside of that, I don't think I really have any role models.
She was a kid, but she was in shop like. Okay.
I'm telling myself.
So.
I think you referring it.
Yeah.
I think like an issue that a lot of black men go through is like they either look up to niggas that's getting fast money, to people that are getting fast money, or they look up to or they have to figure it out by themselves. They have to create their role model. They have to live that out, and that's obviously an issue.
And I think that role models are important just because when we was talking in the beginning, and y'all was saying like, it's like kind of a lost cause with the teenagers, like their mind is set. I think that the role model is important because y'all know I'm just very, very passionate about education and youth. So I don't believe that's a lost cause for any child. So I think that just us talking about the role model just shows that many of us don't have role models, and that may be why we think that it's a lost cause, because we feel like we don't have anybody to look up to. But if we can become role models, us and other people, we can start being those role models for the younger generations. I don't think that they'll be lost causes. I think that we can change a lot of their minds.
It's just like we said, we didn't have any role models, but we all turned out great. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're a lost cause. It just means like you basically out here getting on your own. You just gotta look up to yourself, and base it on your own perspective. You can't base it on what somebody else has told you. So.
I agree. And I saw a post on Facebook one day, and it might have been somebody's status. It said, if you have a skill or something like that, choose one black teen that you know and teach it to them. It said something like that. So basically, I feel like that's part of you being a role model. Even if you're not like passionate like me, like I want to have my own school and really like work with kids for a living. But y'all might have different plans. But if you have like something that you're really good at, and you know somebody in your neighborhood, you can go teach them that, or just talk to them, try to keep them out of trouble, and that's you being a role model right there.
Yeah, be the change you want to see.
Next question, please.
Yeah, we'll stop it for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, and when I say the black community or black kids, I'm only specifying black because I want to do work in Detroit and it's predominantly black. The kids in the public school system are going to be black, so that's why I'm talking about them. But since we just mentioned like if you have a skill, you can go teach it to a kid in your neighborhood. I do want to transition into the question of what do you think the black community lacks as far as providing resources to our young teens? Like, I know for me, when I first went to college, like I don't feel like I was prepared at all for it. Like I didn't know anything, So what do you think that you were missing as a teen when you grew up? You're like, dang, why didn't I have this to help me, learn this or transition into this? What do you think that we're missing as a community?
I would say most definitely missing time. All of our leaders never have enough time. Mama didn't have enough time. She had to work. I didn't have enough time. The teachers, they don't have enough time. They got, 150 other students. Nobody has enough time to be personal with that child or, really take care of them or teach them something. So when there's not enough time, it's just a cascading effect from there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I guess it's like you go into these jobs where you got to work a lot of hours to make enough money. Then so you don't have enough time to give your children, the right upbringing, so they don't have to work jobs like you. And it's just like it's a vicious cycle. So I completely agree. I think that's what we need the most, common effort.
Besides time, do you have anything else to add?
Money. Like, all right, so your mom's not around, and it's like white kids up there, suburban kids, and their parents not around, but they, they making a lot of money, so they can afford to put their kids in tutoring. They can put them on like, these AAU basketball teams, put them in music, dance classes, or whatever. And as a young black kid, like you come home and you pretty much babysit yourself, and do your homework if your mama checking or whatever. But if not, like it is what it is. So I think once we start bringing more money into the black community, that's that's going to be an outlet for that's going to allow for outlets for like the younger generation. They'll be able to your mama working, but at least you somewhere getting some type of you learning something.
Well, they answered that kind of perfectly. So based on their answers, like that was just basically it, like money and time.
I think another thing that kind of relates to the money and time is like spaces where our kids can go and interact with other kids their age, talk to older people. Just like how he said, you go home, you do your homework, your mom at work, you're just sitting there all day, you don't have anybody to talk to, and it's like we don't know our neighbors anymore, we don't know our elders, we're not gaining any information, so it's like we just wasting all this time, and we don't have spaces where we can go and connect and unite with each other. So I think that's one thing that we're lacking too. I also want to add to that. I think what we lack as a community is definitely unity. I think, like for example, if we go, so many of us go to church, and then like we pay our money to the church. I feel like we should have like some type of organization where we like, okay, this amount of money is going to go to this after school program, or this amount of money is going to go to us starting this college tour, or this amount of money is going to help this mom or that single mom. I just don't think we're organized enough to where we're providing resources that are really going to change us. I think we should, I think we should just come together as a community. Maybe say if each family gives up $20 a month or something, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of people who live in Detroit. If a family gives up $20 a month, that's a lot of money that goes into one pool of money. So if a single mom is late on her bills or something, we can help her with that money. Like, it's just like we're all very selfish and we don't think to put our money together. So we're all just struggling tremendously when we can work together and get it.
But you gotta think, not to throw you off there, but it's a lot of people struggling though. So that pool might get a little skippy because there's a lot of What I think is it's not like enough money in the hood to really like pull it like that. But at the same time, it is a lot of people that's balling and kind of blowing it, and like them are the people that we gotta be looking at to kind of to shoulder the burden until this next generation grow up and they making enough money. Because I mean, if you look at East Side, Southwest Detroit, like there's no money over there. It's none. It's like what I'm saying. So like it's that pooling is a great idea, but we first gotta get people working first. So.
I agree. I definitely think it's not a lot of money necessarily in Detroit, and we do need more people working. Our unemployment rate is horrible, but I do notice like even people who don't have money or a job, they will find a way to buy something expensive. So we chose to use the money that we use for our pleasure and was like, okay, I'm going to put $20 out of this month into this resource to help the whole community. I think that at least will be a start, because you know, we spend a lot of money in Detroit, despite the fact that it is very poverty ridden. We still find a way to buy very expensive things with no money. So
struggle separately instead of coming together
Right.
and being, financially together, where we all choose to struggle separately
Right.
instead of coming together and, being better, being a unit. Nobody, black people, they don't care about each other enough, All white people excuse me, like when Trayvon Martin got shot, well, black people kill black people. I think we need to stop giving them that excuse and care about each other, so that way when they do something else, they have to look at themselves like, okay, we did this, Not because black people don't do it to themselves, so we can't do this anymore, Or we don't care about each other enough. We just want to be separate.
Yeah. So jumping off of that, I guess I got a question not to propose to everybody. Like what specifically? We talk a lot about unity and how important it is, but like, what specifically can we do to build unity, to bring the community together, to make people interested in like pulling money and stuff like that? Because you can throw unity out a lot, and it's nice words, but at the end of the day, like people need to put gas in in their car, they need to buy dinner for the night. So like,
I think that one thing that we can do, because it's honestly a lot of people, I've been noticing a lot of people, even people I wouldn't even expect, that will really want to come together as a community, but it's like we just don't know how, or we don't know where to go. But I've noticed that they have like New Era Detroit now, and they have like certain meetings. I don't know how often they have them, but I was just thinking that if more people would attend the meetings and more people would get out what they want to get out of the community, like if they would get to express themselves and what they wanted out of the community, maybe we can see. Because it's not that we don't, I'm not going to say all of us don't have the money. Like, we have the money. Like I said, we spend it on stuff we don't need, and I don't think we know where to go to express what we actually want done. So I think we should start paying attention to what we have in our community. I definitely want to try to attend a meeting just to see what's going on. I think more of us should. That way, I feel like they're trying to stop the crime in Detroit. And so when we all meet at the meetings, we should have a group that's trying to help the education system, a group that's trying to
Not just
provide better food. Right.
More so help bring other people up.
Right. We're letting them do all the work for that, and we like, okay, they got it, they take care of it, but nobody else is organizing in any other aspect that we need help with. So I think
They can't be all over the city.
Yeah.
Right.
It's enough work for everybody. Like, there's so much stuff that you can do, whether it's like, you're on the streets, like actually, put together, a community watch or whatever, or you attend to the community garden, because, ain't no supermarkets in Detroit. So we all like, eating out of the gas station or liquor store all day. That shit ain't good for your attention span or your liver or anything like that. Yeah, it's a lot of shit. It's a lot of stuff that we can do together. But I think something important that we should do is, like you say, like attending meetings. I think that's really smart. But just don't bring yourself. What I'm saying? Try to talk somebody into it. At least bring one person. If they stop coming, go find somebody else. And then once you get somebody that can come consistently, tell them to bring a friend.
I feel like in the black community, we never believe that this can work. All of us like, oh, this ain't gonna work. Somebody I clean up, somebody just throw some trash here tomorrow. So why bother? Black people are always so, why bother? But I think it's about time that we need to bother. And we need to do something. Something needs to be done. We just don't. It's not working anymore. It's not good.
Okay, so we just talked about what we can do as a community to start uniting and organizing more. And I think one thing that kind of stops us from organizing and going to these meetings is that we're so consumed with technology, social media, doing other things. So what do you guys think about that? Any comments on just social media and the black community in general?
Well, I feel like when we were younger, I'm 24, like I said. We were younger, we used to be outside. There was no such thing as I'm sitting in the house all day on my cell phone. I used to be outside with my cousins, go to recreational centers, park programs. We used to be outside jump roping, drawing with chalk, doing sports. Now, like my cousin said, a mother just grabs a tablet and passes it to her 2-year-old. Like, everybody is so focused on just being stuck on social media. No one is out here actually interacting, or I can't even think of the right word to say, like,
Anybody involved?
yeah, nobody's involved. Nobody's involved with each other. Everybody is just so consumed to social media.
No more personal relationships. Only thing people do now is send a text. Nobody got to really sit down and talk to one another, or go to their house or anything at all. It's just, let's get on Facebook and send them a message or something like that. And I feel like that's kind of destroying the black community, because we need to see each other. We need to talk to each other, so that that way we know what's going on. Because I can lie all day over social media and say I'm happy, but nobody comes to my house, and so if I commit suicide that next week or something like that, nobody will know why, because it was on social media. I said I was happy with my emoji kind.
Yeah. That's very important, because like the suicide rates for men, American men is just high, period. But for black men, it's like,
And to add to that,
it's ridiculous.
Homosexual men, black men have the highest suicide rate. Just to add to that,
They don't feel safe.
There's nobody to talk to. There's no community to actually be there for somebody. So, yeah, so let's not get on that topic, because I'll go on.
Just suicide. Yeah, I definitely think that we are very, very sad. We do need to heal. We are very, very unhappy with social media plays a huge role, because, like you said, we cyberbullying. We spend our time on social media. We don't interact with our family, our friends like we used to. So it's like we feel like we don't have anything. We actually have a lot of people who love and care about us, but it's like we don't have tight relationships with them. So it's so easy for us to feel like no one's here for y'all when I die. So that's very important.
Also, on social media, I guess like a big problem that's the way social media contributes to like the black community's lack of self-worth is that like you see a lot of like really like divisive negative images a lot. You always see like light skin versus dark skin, east side versus west side, Android versus iPhone. You always feel like you don't got enough, and this really affects like the way you see yourself, your self-esteem and stuff like that. So like I think what we should do as a community is to just stop sharing stuff like that. Like you gotta be woke enough to recognize like, hey, that's some bullshit. Like it don't matter what kind of phone you got, you beautiful with your dark complexion and stuff like that. You ain't gotta have a long Remy. Yeah, I think that's a way that we can build unity and kind of heal as a community.
Also in the black community, I feel like we are not allowed to be sad. If it's a girl and she's sad, it's like, oh, that girl got an attitude. Or if it's a man and he feeling down and he's depressed, stop acting like a girl or something like that. We're not allowed to have emotions as black people. And I feel like that's wrong, because depression is a real thing. That's a real thing that affects people, and black people too. Black men too. Black men, I don't think we're acting like a girl. If a black man pout, I think he should be able to pout. I don't think we should be able to be called, are you acting like a woman? Are you acting like a girl? If I'm upset about something. If I'm upset, leave me alone. Let me be upset for a couple minutes. I'm not a girl now. I'm still as manly as I was before, but I'm upset. I'm allowed to have my emotions. I'm allowed to feel my way.
Like crying and like being upset and pouting and stuff like that, it releases endorphins and stuff like that. So like you're supposed to cry when you really hurt to get over it. And black men, like we gotta be tough all day, and holding that together all day. That's why you see like men dying of stress at 46 and stuff like that, because your whole life you had to be hard and and now what's it, pre-hypertension or whatever, and you kill over at 54, leaving a burden for the rest of your family because you had to be a man your whole life.
Even as like a little boy, a 2, 3 year old, man up. You can't cry.
Yeah,
you can't cry. That's a baby. He can cry. He's supposed to cry.
And then that's another thing as far as uplifting. Like they think that the black man is supposed to be the one that's supposed to hold up everybody. Like they need somebody to be there for them sometimes, like to uplift them or encourage them. Like they can't do it all by themselves. Like women can be as strong as a man is too. Like you don't necessarily have to put everything on black man.
Exactly, and vice versa too, because I feel like we put a little bit too much pressure on our moms and shit. We all bullshitting, and the women are the people that are actually in the streets like putting in work. So like men need women, but they need us just as much as we need them.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a role to play, and when somebody don't play their role and lead the other person to do both, and it just can't be like that no more. Like I'm extremely proud of Black women, and the accomplishments that they made. But now I think it's time for them to help us, because we lacking behind. They the top most educated in the whole country, but where are we as Black men? We still only in prison or working at fast food jobs. I mean, I feel like it's time for us to get some help from our women in this community.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they haven't before, but I think like we need that extra special care that only a Black woman can give.
Yeah.
We should help us help ourselves.
And I believe it's basically because a lot of men don't have like motherly figures in their lives as well. Just like they say, guys don't have men in their lives. Some men need their mothers too. It's not just because you don't have your daddy, you gonna grow up a certain type of way. If you ain't got your mama, like you're looking for a motherly figure.
You need your
I
mama.
also want to add to that. I think, especially and this is speaking in general, like a lot of Black men who grow up in single parent homes with just their mom, it's like their mom is like the only woman that they care about. They don't know how to care about other Black women, and I think that's our disconnect when it comes to because I do agree that we need to start uplifting our Black men and helping them, because obviously, society set it up so the Black woman can get ahead and feel like, we can do it all our own, and obviously it's set up so that Black men can fail more often than a woman. So we do need to help Black men, but I see that it's just a lot of disrespect going on with Black men. It's like they only love their mother, and I think it comes from not seeing a man love their mother, so they don't know how to love a woman.
They were the men that loved their mother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they feel like they ain't gotta love another woman. Because
Right.
That was my duty as a man to love my mama.
That's what you hear a Black man say. You not my mama.
Exactly.
Right.
Get on my face. But
So yeah, you need those role models in the house. I mean, you gotta have a two-parent household to show you how to love somebody.
You need that masculine and feminine energy.
And it's not necessarily like we go back to the community thing. It's not necessarily you need it in the household. You need it in the community.
Yeah.
Like
Back then, somebody uncle down the street would pick you up from school, make you do your homework, teach you how to play ball, do just stuff like that. Nowadays, nobody cares about nobody else's kid. They'll see a single mom and let her, raise 5 boys by herself or something.
Yeah, I think the community is a big part too, not just as far as the household.
I do want to add something. When we were talking about we need to promote positive like images on social media, because we have a lot of negative images, especially when it comes to shows like Love and Hip Hop. And I don't just want to call that type of show out, or like Empire, because I used to watch Love and Hip Hop, but I just realized I had to stop watching it because I wasn't getting anything out of it. And I do like Empire as an entertainment show, but somebody posed the idea and they said, you have 4 Black men on this show who are, stars of the show, and neither one of them have a positive relationship with a Black woman. And that just made me look at Empire in a different way, because it's like our kids are watching this. So many people watch Empire, the biggest show on TV, and it's no type of positive relationship with a Black man and a Black woman. And I think that those type of images that we keep feeding ourselves is helping us to keep this disconnect that we have as a Black man and Black women. And I also want to add to that, there's a lot of people out here, even Black people, who will get mad at you because you share positive Black images. Like, I had somebody tell me that I think Black people are better than white people. This was a Black guy who told me this, and I was just confused because I've never said that out of my mouth. I've never said that, but I do share a lot of positive Black images, and I'll be like, oh, nothing better than a Black man, look at this beautiful Black family. And it's like, how did you get that idea that I think we're better? Because I'm promoting us. So it's like we're not even allowed to promote ourselves.
pro-Black is anti-White.
Right. Right, it's like even when you try to promote, positive black images, you get bashed by white people because white people look at you, oh, you're crazy, and then black people are scared to join you because black people are so afraid to believe in themselves and empower themselves. So it's like, but I just want to comment that that's stuff you have to deal with when you do promote positive black images versus the negative ones.
I feel like we've been down so long. It's time for us to come up. White people been leaders throughout history.
See. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm not going to call them leaders.
I mean,
they've been conquerors throughout. They've been the greatest conquerors of all time.
But now it's time for we so far behind every race. You go to the liquor store, who own that? The Chaldeans or the Russians or somebody else. Black people don't own anything. And it's time for us to be pro-black, and that pro-black don't mean anti any other race. It just means I want to focus on my community and help us to achieve some of the things that all the other races have.
Exactly. And I think a lot of times black people are afraid of that. Like, I get called crazy all the time because I would say something like, who cares about that, or we need to do this for ourselves first. And people will call me crazy all the time, or they automatically assume, oh, that's the crazy pro-black girl. And it's like, why am I crazy because I'm pro-black? When for 500 years we've been slaves to America, and now, when it's somebody like a 22-year-old girl who just wants her people to have what we're owed out of this country, you're crazy.
Yeah, I think if you run into this a lot online and stuff like that, you gotta understand, like, everybody ain't got, pretty much all black people from, like, a young age watching any show on Fox, Empire and stuff like that, it's kind of embedded in you that, like, white is right and
right.
Black is kind of wrong.
White is the standard. We
right.
know that
we can
white,
have our own.
that white, what's that word? White, like privilege. White privilege doesn't exist, but it does because white is the standard by which all things are measured. Hair, like the texture of your hair, white is good hair, and black is the bad hair. So white is the good skin, black is the bad skin. So everything is measured off of white is good, and anything else is not as good. So privilege automatically exists because if I was going to hire somebody, I'm going to hire the good. I'm going to hire the girl with the good hair. The straight blonde is blonde. They got the blue eyes, and they look like they are presentable. Instead of a person who looks, who has her hair is nappy or something like that. So white is everything is measured off of they're good, we're bad.
Well, yeah. Just to go back to, like, how you always get into it with people, it's like you kind of got to meet people where they are. Because everybody not gonna be as woke as you. And so instead of, like, kind of meeting fire with fire, like, oh, you mad at me because I'm pro-black, well, I'm mad at you for being mad at me. Kind of like, what I'm saying? You got to kind of just, ease them into it. Like, all right, well, I see what you're saying, but, like, look at this. Hit them with some facts, what I'm saying? Some stuff that they can't refute. And then, you can contribute to their wokeness. But if you meet fire with fire, then you'll turn them off. It's going to be like, okay, Stacy was pro-black and she crazy, so every other pro-black person I see, they crazy still too. So.
Well, my point was that, I do agree with you saying, my point is that, like at work, like, they'll call me crazy and they don't know anything that I like. They just know that I'm into black people. Like, I was reading Malcolm X book at work, and then my coworker was like, oh, you crazy, like Malcolm X. And I was like, you don't even know me. Like, I had just started there. It's like they assume just because you idolize people like Malcolm X and you like you crazy automatically before I even say anything.
Right. I think the sentiment is not like they don't know how to express it. It's not that you're crazy. It's just they don't understand you. Yeah. You're on a different level.
You're not like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we got away from, like, schools though. we got into, like, a whole talk about racism.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of very important things. I think we had a good conversation, but now I think we should go into our conclusion as far as where do we go from here based on everything we talked about. What can we do from here on out? Like I said, with the Young and Ambitious Foundation, I want to eventually start mentoring. So if y'all are interested in that, it doesn't even have to be like full time. If y'all have anything y'all can contribute, y'all can do that. But speaking in general, it's like if you were a mentor, if you were to go on and help your community, what would you do based on what we talked about? What do you think you can contribute to the community?
Yeah. I think my biggest contribution, like first and foremost, would be like just to be a mentor, like you said, just be a positive role model. So that I mean, stand out of trouble and trying to get this degree out the way or whatever. Just kind of show them that this is possible. You can come from where I'm from, and you can be a positive role model. But like specifically like the type of the work I'm gonna put in, I feel like the best thing I can do for my community is like tutoring. Because there's so many like black boys, and don't nobody want to help these kids. Don't nobody want to take the time to sit down and talk to them. Like they behind 3 grading levels because they getting 3 reading levels because they just get passed along, and they embarrassed now. So I just want to be able to create a space where I can allow them to be behind and still encourage them to get to where they're supposed to be, or even further and stuff. So but like anything, I come to talks like this, whatever I can do.
Well, where I can go from here is I can start with not necessarily community. I can start with my family. Like I feel like I need to be a lot of role model to my cousins, my siblings. So starting at home first would be a big thing for me.
And what is I guess like 2 things that you want to do? Because you got a little sister, you have me, you have 2 nieces, and you have little cousins that are. Well, she don't have 2 nieces.
Yeah, I know.
So you have a lot of younger females in your family that you can be a role model for. So what are a couple things that you want to start with, just based on who they are?
Based on who they are is basically finish and get my degree, like he stated. Also show them that, like we were speaking, you don't need a man to uplift you. You can get out here and do things on your own. You don't necessarily need them to be strong for you. You can be strong for yourself. Basically that's it. Just be a better person and show them that you can do anything you put your mind to.
I think what I can do is, not be a statistic. I can not go to jail. I can go to school and, finish and do all of those things. I can work a job without being late. I won't let them, say it's just another black man, doing this or whatever. I'm going to respect women, and teach that to all younger generations, that I have. Like if I have a son, I'm going to tell him, respect your mother or stuff like that. And I feel like it starts there. If I could just pass what I know along to someone else, we would have a race of babies who respect the women, like Tupac wanted, So I feel like I can start there and also help my sister with this foundation because it's a really great thing. I like that it's not formal. It's very informal. Anybody can come and donate whatever. Anybody can come. Just come as you are. Contribute what you have, and I feel like it's important for us to have that kind of foundation because it shouldn't be the minimum. Shouldn't be $1. If I got 50 cents, I got 50 cents. And I like that about this foundation. I'm going to try my best to help her out with whatever she needs.
So I just want to thank you guys for coming because a lot of people did have to cancel. So I want to thank you guys for coming to talk to me. It means a lot. Try not to cry because I'm an emotional person. But it just started. This foundation was really scary. I wanted to start it when I got out of school last summer 2015, but I kept telling myself like I don't have enough money, I don't have the resources to help these kids. And then it was like November, December, I was like, you know what, I have $500 that I know I can save that I can give to one student in Detroit to help them with college, so I'm just going to start off with that. And then I decided, okay, I want to do a back to school event, and then more ideas just came along. Now I want to, I've always wanted to mentor, that's always been my first goal. But now I just feel like I don't necessarily need a lot of money. All I need is people who believe in me, like you guys, just to come in, even if it is just to talk, just to see how we can help these kids. I believe that once we show them that somebody out here is passionate about them, then they will definitely start to change. And I think that the foundation will end up being a great thing. So I want to thank you guys again for coming out and talk to me. And don't forget, in August we're gonna do a back to school event. So if y'all want to help with that, whether it's a donation or help set up or decorate or whatever, I'm gonna give out school supplies for kids in Detroit, and hopefully I can do like a back to school clothes giveaway. My sister told me I should do that because a lot of kids don't usually have school clothes when they go back to school, so I want to try to do that too, but it just depends on how the summer goes. And we will have, another piece of this, just to continue on what we were talking about and to touch on other things, get different voices. So thank you guys if you watched this. Thank you, and thank you guys again. Bye.
Peace out. Much love to everybody.
That's what they tell, that's what they tell, what they tell, what they tell. That's what they tell, what they tell, what they tell. They see the ballers and celebrities as a reminder of the people they would never be. Jealousy got them sick without a remedy. Thinking when I die nobody gon' remember me. I was told that nobody cared, so the dreams that I had turn to nightmares. Cause this thing called life really ain't fair. Need help but it ain't there, so you know it's really hard to stay dedicated.